All long to see them end this doubtful fray, and as they favour, so they wish success. These hope true virtue shall obtain the day, those trust on fury, strength, and hardiness. But on Armenia most this burden lay, whose looks her trouble and her fear express. For on this dangerous combat's doubtful end, her joy, her comfort, hope, and life depend. Her, the sole daughter of that hapless king, that of proud Antioch late wore the crown, the Christian soldiers to Tancredi bring, when they had sacked and spoiled that glorious town. But he, in whom all good and virtue spring, the virgin's honour saved, and her renown. And when her city and her state was lost, then was her person loved and honoured most. He honoured her, served her, and leave her gave, and willed her go whither and when she list. Her gold and jewels had he care to save, and them restore it all, she nothing missed. She that beheld his youth and person brave, when by this deed his noble mind she wist, laid ope her heart for Cupid's shaft to hit, who never knots of love more sure knit. Her body free, captivated was her heart, and love the keys did of that prison bear. Prepared to go, it was a death to part from that kind lord, and from that prison dear. But thou, O honour, which esteemed art the chiefest virtue noble ladies wear, enforcest her against her will to wend to Aladine, her mother's dearest friend. At Sion was this princess entertained by that old tyrant and her mother dear, whose loss too soon the woeful damsel plained. Her grief was such, she lived not half the year, yet banishment nor loss of friends constrained the hapless maid her passions to forbear. For though exceeding were her woe and grief, of all her sorrows yet her love was chief. The silly maid in secret longing pined, her hope a mote drawn up by Phoebus' rays. Her love a mountain seemed, whereon bright shine fresh memory of Tancred's worth and praise. Within her closet, if herself she shrined, a hotter fire her tender heart assays. Tancred at last, to raise her hope nigh dead, before those walls did his broad ensign spread. The rest to view the Christian army feared, such seemed their number, such their power and might. But she alone her troubled forehead cleared, and on them spread her beauty shining bright. In every squadron, when it first appeared, her curious eye sought out her chosen knight. And every gallant that the rest excels, the same seems him, so love and fancy tells. Within the kingly palace, builded high, a turret standeth near the city's wall, from which Armenia might at ease descry the western host, the plains and mountains all. And there she stood all along the day to spy, from Phoebus' rising to his evening fall, and with her thoughts disputed of his praise, and every thought of a scolding sigh did raise. From hence the furious combat she surveyed, and felt her heart tremble with fear and pain. Her secret thoughts thus to her fancy said, Behold thy dear, in danger to be slain. So with suspect, with fear and grief dismayed, attended she her darling's loss or gain. And ever when the pagan lift his blade, the stroke a wound in her weak bosom made. But when she saw the end, and wist withal their strong contention should eftsoons begin, amazement strange her courage did appall, her vital blood was icy cold within. Sometimes she sighed, sometimes tears let fall, to witness what distress her heart was in. Hopeless, dismayed, pale, sad, astonished, her love, her fear, her torment bred. Her idle brain unto her soul presented Death in 100 ugly fashions painted, and if she slept, then was her grief augmented, with such sad visions were her thoughts acquainted. She saw her lord with wounds and hurts tormented, how he complained, called for her help and fainted, and found, awaked from that unquiet sleeping, her heart with panting sore, eyes red with weeping. Yet these presages of his coming ill not greatest cause of her discomfort were. She saw his blood from his deep wounds distil, nor what he suffered could she bide or bear. Besides, report her longing ear did fill, doubling his danger, doubling so her fear, that she concludes, so was her courage lost, her wounded lord was weak, faint, dead almost.